Hey guys, it's Trixie and I'm happy to film another video for you on my second channel today. You guys kept asking me about my kids, so I thought it may be a nice idea to tell you about some differences and similarities between the two. As many of you may know, I have two kids. One is 3 years old by now and the other one is 8 months old. You may actually hear them in the background because my boyfriend is playing with them while I make this video, so yeah, that's them. And I think it's super interesting to see how similar they are concerning some things and how different concerning others. It's something that every parent wonders when they're having a second child. Is it going to be like the first one, or are they going to be the opposite of each other? It's fascinating to see that two persons from the same blood, from the same gene pool, who grow up in the exact same environment, are still not copies of one another. They're not clones. They are very unique people, even though everything around them and inside them is so similar. So yeah, for this video I'm gonna refer to my younger 8-month-old daughter as the Tiny Bunny and to my 3-year-old daughter as the Bunnyrabbit. I'm going to talk about 3 different aspects: the pregnancy and the birth, the behavior, and the looks. And now let me tell you how much alike they are. First of all, the pregnancy and the birth have been very different for the two children. For the baby bunny, the pregnancy was comfortable as pregnancies can be, but giving birth to her was a nightmare. I was in labor in the worst pain you can imagine for 26 hours. The baby bunny's heartbeat was dropping, the birth didn't progress the way that they wanted it to, and then when she was born, she had this horrible infection that nobody knew where it came from. We had to stay in the hospital for 10 more days. I couldn't breastfeed her. She was in another room. She had to be monitored her day and night. When I think of this time, my heart still hurts. It was a rough start. For the Tinyrabbit, on the other hand, the pregnancy was much more complicated. I'm not going to go into too much detail here since I already made another video on this topic, but there were many more worries and complications included. In the end, I had to lie down for weeks to avoid premature birth. I had some bleeding going on and there were just lots and lots of fears involved. But therefore, the birth was much quicker and easier. When the labor started, I went to the hospital at around 3 o'clock in the night, and she was already there at almost 8 o'clock in the morning. So maybe overall 7 hours of bearable labor pain compared to 26 hours of dying. Also, when she was born, I was able to breastfeed her right away. She didn't have an infection. She understood instantly how this whole feeding thing works. I still remember this wonderful moment when I noticed that she was eating already right after birth. This tiny cute creature in my arms. It felt so good that we were able to share this experience together just seconds after she entered this world. I felt proud. We became a union. We were a team from the start. She did not have an infection and we were able to leave the hospital after 3 days. Is this plant thing annoying for you too? Because it's kind of poking me through my pullover. You go there now. Plant problem solved. Okay, so now let's talk about my children's behavior. When they were really small, both of them loved to sleep in the baby sling. They wanted to be carried around all the time in this gray baby sling that I own, be close to mommy, feel mommy's heartbeat, and not gonna lie, I enjoyed that too. Now, I just said that they both need a lot of proximity, and that's true, but I think the Tiny Bunny is a bit more extreme. The baby bunny also liked cuddling and she wanted to be on mommy's arm a lot, but the Tiny Bunny, she is intense. You know, while the baby bunny got her daily dose of cuddling and then went off to explore stuff again, the Tiny Bunny wants me around 24/7, non-stop. There needs to be body contact for her to be 100% happy. She needs more guidance, I would say. She wants me to be part of everything that she does, and she wants to be part of everything that I do. While the baby bunny acted very independently, even at a young age, the Tiny Bunny is more like, this is a little bit scary, where is my mommy? In general, she also cries a bit more. She gets scared or anxious more easily. So I have to say the baby bunny was more of a tough cookie. Having mommy around was nice, but she wanted to get to know everything. And if that meant that she had to handle things without mommy, then so be it. She walked, she fell, she got up, she tried again. Now the Tiny Bunny walks, falls, looks around in shock, Where's mommy? And when she sees me, she starts crying. As if she's thinking, okay, this wasn't actually that bad a fall, but if I cry, mommy's gonna come and comfort me. I should not waste this opportunity. I lovingly call her mein kleines Mimöschen. All in all, she's way more sensitive concerning different situations. For example, she almost always cries or becomes uncomfortable when her diapers full. And I don't mean a poop-filled diaper, I mean a little bit of pee. She wants me to change her right away, she wants attention. The Bunnyrabbit, on the other hand, never cared about diapers. She always found it annoying when I had to change her, because that meant that her exploration was interrupted. Then another thing that I connect to this being more sensitive aspect, the tiny bunny is almost always a little bit too cold. Or, well, I mean that she freezes more easily. I put her a jumpsuit, a fluffy pullover, pants, socks, then a pajama on top of that, and her sleeping bag. But no matter what she wears, she is always a little bit cold. And then she wants to cuddle and snuggle and get some mommy warmth, which is cute, but also a bit odd, because the Bunnyrabbit was completely different. The Bunnyrabbit was always warm. You want to dress your child for the night? Your midwife tells you you put her this, and this. You do exactly that, trying to be a good mom, and your child is so uncomfortable and unhappy and sweaty. Up to this day, we always fight about her clothes. Even in the coldest winter, she insists on wearing a sleeveless pajama, which feels wrong to me, but then again, she is not cold. When you touch the Bunnyrabbit only wearing a t-shirt in the coldest winter, she is nicely warm, and when you then touch the baby wearing 10 different layers of clothes, she doesn't feel cold, but not necessarily hot either, and she's far away from sweating. Then this sensitivity also plays into the things that they like. The Bunnyrabbit is plain crazy. She likes cars and action and running and jumping. Her leisure time is full of extreme things. She's gonna be a professional bungee jumper in her later life. The Tinyrabbit, on the other hand, likes the calmer things. She likes to look at books, for example. Obviously, since she's a baby, she doesn't understand anything yet, but she likes to, see the colors, the figures. She touches the motifs with her little finger. Her focus is completely on the book, or on an instrument, or something she can just discover in a quiet way for herself. The Bunnyrabbit used to eat books. Whenever I tried reading a story to her, she lost interest basically right away. Sometimes she would grab a book and just bite into it or tear a page out of it. In general, she's not very careful with the toys that she owns. She plays very intensely and things break easily. The Tinyrabbit seems to be more soft and careful, but she's also more anxious. But even though she is so calm, she also has a high temper. When something doesn't work right away, the Tinyrabbit gets frustrated quite quickly. But I feel that for her, it's more like disappointment about herself, while the Bunnyrabbit gets angry at the thing that doesn't work the way she wants it to. Therefore, the Tinyrabbit cries, "Pick me up, I failed," while the Bunnyrabbit screams and grabs the thing and throws it to the floor. These differences may also explain why the Bunnyrabbit hates it when I sing. The Tinyrabbit, however, loves it. When I start singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, she smiles all the time and is very, very happy. They both like music, however. It's just mommy's singing that doesn't please the baby bunny. While, funnily enough, the Bunnyrabbit prefers Japanese pop songs, the Tinyrabbit is totally into Linkin Park. And no, this is not a joke. You play a random song to her, she doesn't care. But you put any song from Linkin Park, she's calm and relaxed and interested. So trying to sum this up, I think that the tiny bunny is basically more like me, because I was also a very calm and anxious and careful baby. When Eric was a child, he smashed a TV with a hammer. So I think that's more the direction the baby bunny is heading. Of course, I can identify more with the way that the tiny bunny behaves because I know it from myself, but I'm not judging any of them. And I'm definitely not trying to change how they are. I don't have a favorite. There are days where one is a bit easier to handle than the other, but I totally love them both in the same way. Then there are some minor things. For example, they both hate taking baths. Now that the baby bunny is older, she started liking them, but as a baby, she freaked out when she only saw the bathtub. And it's totally the same with the tiny bunny now. She used to like it in the very beginning, but now no way. Both kids prefer fruit over vegetables, they love spaghetti, and they hate carrots. I know it's a bit ironic since I call them rabbits. And they both hate mommy's self-made food. So food-wise, they are quite similar. However, while the bunny rabbit loved fish, the tiny bunny hates it. So much that she actually almost throws up from it. Oh, and one last thing, the tiny bunny has a really weird laughter. You know, the bunny rabbit has this normal, very cute child laughter, but the tiny bunny laughs like a panting dog. When she finds something funny, she always goes. Now my last section, the differences and similarities concerning their looks. Appearance-wise, they're actually very different. The only two things they really have in common is that they have huge blue eyes and that they are lightweight. But in general, the tiny rabbit is much smaller than the bunny rabbit. She also has a very round face, while the bunny rabbit's face is rather rectangular. When they were born, the first thing that I noticed about the bunny rabbit was her nose. With the tiny rabbit, it was her mouth, because it's very small. The tiny rabbit started teething much sooner, but therefore she has no hair. The bunny rabbit was born with more hair than the tiny rabbit has now with 8 months. And then there's another thing that I need to share about the tiny rabbit. I don't know how to say it, but compared to the bunny rabbit, she looks very derpy. She's extremely cute, but when you look at her, it's as if she always has a question mark in her eyes. What is this? What is life? Where am I? She looks adorable and happy, but also... But for some reason, that also makes her super photogenic. I take one picture of the tiny bunny and it's a top shot. I take 10 of the bunny rabbit and she always looks like... She's always very silly when I try to take pictures. When I tell her to smile, she goes... So yeah, again, the bunny rabbit is like, in a cute way, over the top. And the tiny rabbit is much calmer and cautious and a bit overwhelmed by everything. I'm very curious how that's gonna develop in the future. Then one last thing, the tiny rabbit is more often mistaken for a boy. Mistaken because it's a baby. Who cares? If I wouldn't change her diapers, I wouldn't know either. And people tend to say that the tiny rabbit looks more like Eric, while the baby bunny is claimed to be more like me. So it seems to be the case that the tiny bunny looks more like Eric, but behaves like me as a baby. And the bunny rabbit looks more like me, but is crazy and courageous and outgoing like her dad. Again, I love them both so much. They're perfect exactly how they are. I don't want to change them a bit, but it's definitely interesting to see that there are some similarities between the two sisters, but way more differences at the moment. So far, their personalities seem to be pretty much night and day. So what do you think? Will the tiny rabbit and the bunny rabbit be more alike when they get older? Do you also have 2 kids or more, and how different or similar are they to each other? What do they look like? Do they look alike? Do they look more like mommy or daddy? What's your experience? Please share what you think in the comments. I would love to read that. Alright, I hope you liked this video. If so, please leave a like because that would make me really happy, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!